All right, wrestling fans, buckle up because things are about to get heated. Mercedes Moné, a name that sends shockwaves through the pro wrestling industry, has found herself in the middle of controversy. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the situation where she's being, in my opinion, wrongfully called out. What's the real story? Who's throwing out that shade? And why is this so messed up? Why is the situation gone wrong? We're going to be breaking down the accusation, the counterpart, the counter arguments, and giving you the unfiltered truth about what's really going on with Mercedes Moné. Because this is going to be one you don't want to miss. Let's get into it. Now, Mercedes Moné, she's been part of AEW for over a year now, making her promotional debut in March of 2024 on the Big Business episode of AEW Dynamite. But the reigning TBS champion, well, she's come under fire. She's come under fire from wrestling fans. She's come under fire from critics within the media. And now she's come under fire from wrestlers. Keep in mind that Mercedes Moné has gone through a lot over the last few years, from opting to leave WWE, walking out in a very dramatic way because she was standing up for what she believed in, for her principles, only to then go to New Japan, have a strong run before being sidelined with a serious injury that resulted her in about 9 months of her career in which she could not get back in time, with then coming into AEW and coming in as a babyface and with a gimmick that just did not work. It did not click. It did not resonate. It was just bad. The CEO, people mocked her theme song. It's still annoying. As a Mercedes Moné fan, I can say that. Now, the good news is for Mercedes Moné, she has turned it around. She's obviously turned heel. She's starting to put on some banger matches. It seems like every match she does, she gets a lot better. But that doesn't stop the critics. Now, I'm sure you've seen the headline where Kevin Nash, a WWE Hall of Famer, he alleged that she's been phoning it in. I disagree with that. I'll give you my opinion more in a minute. But let's talk about what Kevin Nash had to say. On a recent edition of Click This Podcast, Nash took issue with Moné's work in AEW, especially comparing her run from AEW to WWE NXT a decade ago. He said Sasha, whatever her name is now, CEO, she was the third match. So I watched her match, and man, she's phoning her crap in big time. That's not the same girl I watched tearing it down in Brooklyn with Bayley. Now keep in mind, talking about a match from 10 years ago, one of the greatest WWE women's matches ever, one of the greatest WWE matches ever, one of the greatest matches you will ever see. This match, Sasha Banks versus Bayley from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2015, where Bayley won the NXT Women's Championship. A decade later, fans, including myself, still consider this to be one of the best matches of their careers and one of the best matches just ever, right? So let's look at this for a moment. Number one, red flag when I read his comment. Sir, if you don't know what her name is right now, I don't know if I take your opinion strongly. Like, you can't say someone's been phoning it in when you haven't been watching her matches. Okay? Number two, saying that Mercedes Moné is phoning it in coming from a guy named Kevin Nash. Sir, I respect your career accomplishments. I thank you for changing the business, giving us the NWO. But from an in-ring standpoint, no one ever will claim, including yourself, the greatest wrestler ever from an in-ring moveset athletic ability standpoint. They just won't. From an in-ring psychology, you got it. From getting it into business, yeah, I would agree. I think you're entertaining. Yes, I actually really enjoyed your TNA run. But you can't criticize someone's in-ring ability, right? Here on this channel, I'm never criticized someone's in-ring ability. Do you know why? Because I can't wrestle. I can't wrestle. So why am I trying to tell them how to wrestle or calling someone badly? I can have an opinion about a product. I can have an opinion about a character, but an in-ring ability standpoint, no, I'm out of my league. So I'm sorry, but no, your opinion does not take in effect. Also, that's like saying, this match, it wasn't as good as one of the greatest matches of all time. Kind of elite, right? And also, if you're saying that this is your first Mercedes Moné match that you've seen in a decade, I also would caution people into saying, that she's phoning it in, right? Because if you noticed, the last several matches, I don't know, probably since the Chris Statlander match in November, outside of like a New Japan, she's putting on bangers, bangers, bangers. She put on such a good match in June of 2024 at Forbidden Door that he got Stephanie Valker not only interest from AEW, but she also got a ton of interest from WWE to the point where they signed her, and she's a big star in NXT. So, like, alleging that Mercedes Moné is phoning it in, yeah, bud, I'm sorry. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. I don't see that. I don't understand how you come from that. I understand you're not the biggest AEW fan in the world. It's fine. It's fine. But you can't say that she's been phoning it in. Now, if you want to shift focus and if you're a Mercedes Moné, then this is what I would say. Don't listen to Kevin Nash. Just don't. Right? In terms of this topic, you can learn a lot from Kevin Nash. From in-ring psychology to booking to promotion to the way you carry yourself to the way that you conduct business, although I would say that she's checked most of those boxes. I would say this. Just keep in mind, this is Kevin Nash. He also likes to joke around, right? He has actively talked about how when he did the docu-series Who Killed WCW, that he was blitzed out of his mind, right? He was higher than a kite. That in mind, right? He jokes around a lot. The whole LA Knight debacle, right? Like people took that so seriously. Just keep in mind it's Kevin Nash. But no, I do not believe that Mercedes Moné is phoning in. I do not believe that she's holding back. I do not believe that she is not putting her best foot forward. I think from a in-ring psychology standpoint and from an in-ring ability and performance, I think she's doing the best of her career. I would say she's not as hot as she once was in WWE in terms of a character standpoint, but that's not, I don't know if I necessarily put all that on her. I think there's a lot that, AEW, look, they've been told for the last 2 years, they had to, recapture that magic, and they're putting on better shows, and their product is turning around. So that more on the booking than anything, but yeah, sorry, Kate.